Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My son's in the crib sleeping, so I'm trying to talk low so I don't wake him up. But if you're new here, make sure to stick around, check out some of my other videos. And if you like my content, hit the subscribe button down below. Also, don't forget to check out the links in my description box. Just the other day, I was talking about Ananda Lewis in my 9/11 video. I was talking about how I was watching her show when the towers were hit, and coincidentally, I guess that's what you can call it, I just heard about her diagnosis with breast cancer. So I thought this would be, maybe perfect wouldn't be the right choice of words, but I'll take this as an opportunity to share my story of when I thought I had breast cancer. So this was back in maybe 2005, 2006. And that morning I had just literally listened to a commercial on the radio. Or maybe I was watching TV, I can't remember. But they were basically saying when you're in the shower, like put your hands up sort of thing, or put one arm up and massage your breasts. That's one way of self-exploring. Instead of having to go for a mammogram or even going to your doctor, that's one way of you testing yourself at home. So I literally just heard it, so I figured I'm in the shower, so why not do it? And lo and behold, I felt a lump, and I started to freak out. I'm like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Like, that's literally the first thing that popped into my head. And back then, I didn't have a family doctor. I didn't have a family doctor back then. I just usually go to like a walk-in clinic. And, side note, if you don't have a family doctor, get one, because I have records all over the place because I've moved around. So I'll just go to like whatever doctor was around at the time, and moved around. I don't even remember some of the doctors I went to, so I have records all over the place, and that's not a good thing. I have a family doctor now that I've been with for 10 years or so, but back then I didn't have one. So I went in and I explained to you, I'm like, this is what happened. They lay me down on the gurney, not the gurney, but like when you go into the doctor's office, they have like a bed there or whatever. He examined me and he's like, yeah, I agree with you. I do feel a lump there or whatever, but I have to send you to a specialist. He referred me to a specialist that took about, I don't want to lie, maybe about a couple weeks or so to get in to see them, to do a biopsy. Like when I went in to see him or whatever, he examined me again. He's like, yeah, I do feel a lump, but we're not sure if it's cancerous or not, so we have to do a biopsy. So they gave me another referral to go to a lab or whatever to get a biopsy done. And all this time I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I have cancer. Like, those are the things that rush to your head. Like, whenever something like that happens, you automatically think negative. I know it's not a good thing, but that's what was in my head. Like, I was literally scared. I was in my, mid-20s back then. I had one daughter. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, leave my daughter behind and whatever. And I was freaking out. And the doctor's like, no, don't do that. We don't know what it is yet. Don't worry. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. They were not in my shoes. So lo and behold, I went and I got the biopsy done. And another 2, maybe 3 weeks, maybe about 2 weeks or so for the results to come back. And they're like, oh, it's benign. I'm like, oh my God. Whew. I was so relieved. I'm like, really? And I was going in like this for no reason, I was planning my funeral. And they're like, we don't know what it could turn out into. It could be nothing, but you have the choice of removing it, like going in for surgery and removing it. I'm like, take it out. Take it out. Because even though it's benign now, like you said, it could lead to something else or whatever, I don't know. And I don't want to have that there, so every time I feel it, like so I'm like, just remove it. So I did surgery. They scheduled me for surgery. I think it was like a couple months after. It was a simpler day surgery. I went in, I think I had to be at the hospital for 6 a.m. that day. My surgery was at 8. And by 11 o'clock, they were waking me up. Well, they weren't waking me up. I was already waking up from the anesthesia and whatever. And I was in the hallway of the hospital. I was living in Toronto at the time. It was a hospital that's at Bayview and I can't remember the intersection, but it's at Bayview. Not Bayview and Eglinton. Or maybe it was Bayview and Eglinton. I can't remember the name of the hospital. I'll look it up and insert it in the thing here. And I woke up and I was in the hallway of the hospital on a gurney, a bed, whatever it's called. And they're like, oh, your surgery went fine. You know, you can go home now or whatever. They called a cab and sent me home. And that was the end of it. I don't even remember which breast it was, because every time I go to a new doctor now and I have to fill out the forms or whatever, they're like, oh, have you ever had any surgery? And I'm like, yeah, I had a benign tumor removed a few years ago, but I don't remember which breast it was. And that goes back to having a family doctor. So at least, you know, if I had a family doctor, I could go back, you know, or they can look back in my file and say, oh, it was the left breast or the right breast or whatever. I don't remember which doctor I went to at the time, but that's basically, you know, what happened. I was self-examined, you know, I found the lump, got the biopsy done, you know, after freaking out, thinking I was going to die or whatever, and turned out to be benign, and I chose to have it removed. You know, I probably could have still had it. Well, not probably, still would have been there. Who knows, you know? And yeah, it was crazy. So women out there, men too, because men can get breast cancer. It's very rare, but it does happen. And I have a friend right now. She had blood cancer. I can't remember the exact term of it right now. I'll ask her and put it up on the screen. And she dealt with that for years, and now she has breast cancer. And, you know, due to COVID and whatever, like the surgeries all over the place and whatever. But it's scary times. It's very scary times. Like, cancer has such a high rate these days. Like, but Ananda, I think she has like stage 3 breast cancer, maybe stage 2. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I hope she does well. I hope she pulls through this. But, you know, hearing that, it just reminded me of what I experienced, what I went through at the time that I thought that I had breast cancer. You know, I panicked for no reason, but anyone in my situation would probably think the same. You feel a lump. No one's thinking, oh, benign. You know, at the time, I don't even think I knew what the word meant, benign. You know, so it was definitely scary times, and I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did. And for all the women out there, men who are, you know, dealing with a diagnosis of breast cancer, I hope you pull through. I know it's a difficult time, you know, scary time, and I hope you pull through. And I'm sorry that you're going through this, but that's basically my little story of, you know, when I thought I had cancer. And you can probably hear my son snoring. He has a cold. But yeah, if you guys have made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up, comment, and if you choose to, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.